Hi, community group directors and teachers. I am excited for our conversation for this week for the Pastor's Cut. As you dive into groups, I'm praying for you all as we talk about a topic that is very exciting to me, and that's peace. We are wrapping up our community series, talking about people are the worst and still the best, and talking about a topic that I believe both Jesus and Paul took very seriously in the New Testament as we look at these 5 characteristics that really Paul used in 2 Corinthians 13 to define what maturity looked like. And so he chose to wrap that up by talking about peace as something that was very important. So you'll be asking questions and talking about it in the group. Is peace something we're fighting for? Is it an active thing? Is it something you just passively wait around for? One of the questions that I love that's in there talks a little bit about peace. Is that something that's only for Christians that are inside the community? Is that for everyone, including people that you disagree with? And is the point of fighting for peace only to win people over to your cause? Or is the point of peace something where you literally fight for it no matter what? Even if you, at the end of the day, you still disagree. I think that's going to be some great conversation starters for sure. One thing that I think would be a great way to start out the conversation is to ask the question, what's the first thing that you think of when you think of peace? The first thing I think of, a couple years ago, my church, we did a Christmas Eve gathering, so I've got this keychain. It's a little gimmick that we created to talk about peace. In Isaiah 9, the prophet Isaiah described the coming Messiah, Jesus, as the Prince of Peace. And so we thought, what's a good way to describe that? Well, to a lot of people, peace, according to the world's perspective, it's a temporal thing. It's almost a little gimmicky. And so I have a piece of a peace is literally what there's a Greek inscription on here says. And so we talked about how much the world thinks of peace as a temporal thing or a short-term thing, where if you just buy it, if you spend enough money, you can have it at least temporarily. But Jesus doesn't give us that kind of peace. Jesus gives us peace that is deep, that is fulfilling, that lasts forever. It goes well beyond what any gimmick that it would cost 5 payments of $19.95 might offer you. And so seriously, what I do think of when I think of peace is Christmas Eve, 1914, a little over 100 years ago. In the middle of World War I, things couldn't have been any worse than they were. And off in the distance, in the battle lines between Germany and America, somewhere in France or Austria, Americans on one side of the battle lines heard a song going on the other side of the battle lines. Still knocked, Heiligen Nacht. And they recognized the melody as Silent Night, Holy Night. And so one by one, brave American soldiers and German soldiers actually crossed into no man's land together. They laid down their guns. They started singing Silent Night together. There was a moment where war was supposed to be going, where they actually had peace because of the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, the Prince of Peace, the Son of God. I thought that was phenomenal. The truth is that when God's presence comes in, you can break down walls. They still fought the next day, but for a short period of time, they celebrated the birth of Jesus together. They found unity in that. And I believe as we're talking about peace, there's something incredibly profound about Jesus as the author of peace, as the Prince of Peace, that can break down any barrier. And so I'm praying for you all that whether you use that example or use something else, you have some great conversation about peace, and that your group ultimately lands at a place where you can pray for each other for peace and pray for ways that you as individuals and as a group may be able to demonstrate the peace of God to the world that desperately needs that instead of a gimmick for a few payments of $19.95. I hope you'll have a great group together. God bless.